Yo, what's up? We are doing Speedroids today. This is one of my all-time favorite Yu-Gi-Oh strategies. That's why I'm very excited. And this video is supposed to be a comprehensive guide for Speedroids post Rise of the Duelist. And as you can see, it's quite long. That's why I divided this guide into 3 different parts. The first part is going to be the deck profile. In the second part, we're going to talk about basic combos like 1-card combos, 2-card combos, and also how to extend your basic combos. And then in the last part, we are doing Speedroid theory, and here I want to discuss like different deck building options that you have and also engines that you can include in your Speedroid deck list. And to make this part a little bit more fun and casual, I'm actually going to create a Speedroid tier list in which I rank all the options and engines out there by their viability. But for now, let's jump right into the list. We are on 1 copy of Terrortop. Of course, we gotta play Terrortop. This card is the GOAT, and now with Card Turbo legal in the TCG, there's even a really good 1-card combo that we can do with Top. 3 copies of Marbled Machine. He's the Stratos of the deck and by far the best normal summon that we got. And also with Rise of the Duelist, he got his very own cool 1-card combo. Next we play 3 Card Turbo. Cast the newest gang member, and he's the only tuner in Speedroids that can actually special summon himself. Also, he has the best level that a Speedroid tuner can have, and that's level 3. If you want to play Speedroids, you definitely need 3 copies of Takatombok. Tak is no doubt the best extender in the deck. He's just a free summon, and on the field you can tribute him to special any Speedroid tuner directly from your deck. But realistically, like 99% of the time you are going to special summon Den Daiko Duke. This is your main deck Speedroid with the best Grave effect, because in Grave he's basically Mezuki for Speedroid tuners. And usually I'm not a big fan of 2-offs, but I think with Daiko Duke 2 is the perfect ratio, because often you can dump 2 of them to your graveyard first turn. And 3 is too much in my opinion, because you have multiple ways of recycling him. Also, you don't want to draw him turn 1, you mostly want to special summon him with Takatombok or search him with Rubber Band Shooter. Then we play 1 Plane. Plane is just another extender, but in my opinion he's a mandatory 1-off, because you will see later in the combo part that we need him for many different combos. We also play 1 Yo-Yo. If you want to play him, play only 1, because you don't really want to see him in your opening hand, but by playing 1 copy you can still do the OG Rubber Band Shooter, banishing a level 7 to reveal Terrortop Yo-Yo. That's still strong, even post Rise of the Duelist. So that wraps up the Speedroids. No, wait, there's actually 3 more copies of Terrortop. Seriously, the only times you don't search Top is when you already have him. And Win the Wind Charmer is just this amazing consistency card for Speedroids, and basically Win plus any wind monster is combo, so it's a no-brainer for sure. In addition to the Speedroids, we also run 2 different wind extenders. The first one is Dynatherium. You might know this card already from some Adamancipator lists that topped recently, but this card is also insane in Speedroids. He's a completely unconditional special summon with almost no downside. The only downside is that your opponent can special a level 4 monster from the grave, but that's completely irrelevant going first and only matters against very few decks going second. Then the second wind extender we play is Hasty Horse. He's very similar to Dynatherium. Actually, Hasty Horse and Dynatherium, they are interchangeable in basically all combos that I will show you later. The main reason why I'm maxing out on both of these extenders is they help me make Rubber Band Shooter before I commit to my normal summon. Besides that, they are also really good at extending the basic Speedroid combos. And what I like about specifically Hasty Horse is that he's a level 5, and that's actually very strong for going second, because in combination with Card Turbo or Takatombok you can special summon Kite Drag and attempt to either negate or wipe your opponent's field before you commit to any other play. For our last monster we played 2 copies of O-Lion. He's only here for Auroradon specifically, but definitely make sure to play 2 because this way you can almost guarantee to have 1 in your deck for Auroradon. And in Speedroids, drawing O-Lion is not a brick, it's actually a decent normal summon, and he can also be an extender. And he's a nice discard for Win, because if Win gets ashed, you get at least a token. So there's not much of a downside playing 2 O-Lion. Now for the spell cards, we are on 3 copies of Speed Recovery. I really love this card, and like the name already suggests, Speed Recovery revives any of your Speedroids. This makes it the best card to extend your basic 1 and 2 card combos, and besides that it has an amazing grave effect, and that's basically it. These are the 28 cards that I consider as the Speedroid core. This is your engine, and because by now Speedroids have a pretty solid engine with decent 1, 2 and 3 card combos, you can fit in easily about 10 to 15 utility cards. In my deck right now I have 12 flexible slots that I'm gonna use for utility cards, and before you fill out these last slots you should probably ask yourself a few questions like: what weaknesses does Speedroid have? Are you building this deck for a local, for a regional, or are you crazy enough and want to try this on a YCS level event? Then if you want to take this deck to locals, against which decks are you usually struggling? And of course there's so many more things to consider, like what cards are popular this format, what are the biggest threats, and what hand traps do you have to expect. So now I'm just gonna show you what I'm gonna take to my next locals on Tuesday. So at my next locals, I'm 100% going to play 3 Ghost Mourner. This is a great hand trap for going first and second, and in my opinion it's the best hand trap for Speedroids because it's wind attribute, and this is mainly important for 2 reasons. Firstly, once in a while you actually need to normal summon Mourner in order to combo off, and later in the combo part I will show you one hand where you need to normal summon Mourner. And secondly, you can discard Mourner for win, and this is extremely useful because most of the times you don't want to discard your starters or extenders. Next we are on 3 Ash. What should I say, it's just the most generic hand trap, good against combo and control, and in general I feel like about 10 hand traps seems right this format, especially since cards like Needle Fiber and Link Cross are still legal in the TCG. Then for the other 3 slots I'm trying out Ghost Ogre. It's just a very generic and strong hand trap, and I don't know how many people have picked up the Numeron engine at my locals because I haven't been there the last 3 weeks, but I kind of expect Zexal because the engine is pretty cheap. So then for the last 3 slots I could play more hand traps like Imperm, Crow or Nibiru. Or I could do maybe Called By. It's good against some hand traps, but it doesn't stop Gamma, Nibiru and Imperm, and it's often weak going second. Other options are of course Spell and Trap removal, 3 Tactical Talents if you can afford it, but I think for this locals I'm actually going with Judgment. I know it's not the best choice for going second, but it's super impactful going first, and Speedroids as of right now have a hard time establishing spell and trap negations, so cards like Dark Ruler, Forbidden Droplet, 3 Tactical Talents, Evenly Matched, the list goes on and on. These are just such a blowout card that I think we need Judgment to cover this weakness. Besides, you put Judgment into the main every time you go first, so by main decking it, I can actually save 3 side deck slots. What I'm also going to do is I'm gonna cut 1 Ogre to fit in 1 copy of Tetherwolf. I can search Tetherwolf with Win, and he outs problem cards like Darklaw and Winder, and also he's one of the better combo starters, so this gives me a little consistency boost. That wraps up the main deck, so let's jump into the extra. We are on 2 copies of Rubber Band Shooter. This is the super sacky Speedroid Link monster. Basically what he does is he dumps a Speedroid from the deck and he also adds one from the deck. I know This sounds completely broken, but the catch is it's random which goes to the hand and which goes to the grave. So then he can also give you an additional normal summon, but unfortunately the second effect locks your extra deck into synchro monsters, so we only use the second effect if we don't climb into Auroradon. Speaking of which, we play one copy of Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon. Auroradon is like made for Speedroids. Going first, he gives us instant access to Hagoida and a free token, and going second you could also tribute himself to my Kite Drake plus a token, and it's quite unfortunate that our extra deck is so tight because I would really love to include a second Auroradon. Next, we actually play two XYZs. One is Leviair and the other one is Totem Bird. Now, post Rise of the Duelist, I think Leviair is mandatory in Speedroids. I will show you later that Leviair is part of many basic 2 and 3 card combos, and by recycling Daiko Duke, Leviair improves our grind game a lot. Then Totem Bird is an XYZ that some of you might never even heard about, because Speedroids I think is the only deck that can summon this card consistently outside of maybe Simorgh variants. And what he does is he can negate any spell and trap by detaching 2 materials, and against some decks like Shaddoll, Strikers, and in general like, you know, fusion and ritual based strategies, you need to establish some kind of spell and trap negation. And, you know, obviously I would prefer to have a synchro monster, like a wind version of Dawn Dragster, but that's just wishful thinking, and I guess you gotta take what you can get right now, and that's Totem Bird. Speedroids are a synchro-based strategy, so the last 10 extra deck slots are all gonna be synchros. So let's start with level 5. On level 5 we have Hagoita and Chanbara. Hagoita is my favorite Speedroid by far, because once per turn, if we control a tuner, he can special himself from the grave. So with his help we can easily set up double Crystal Wing, and in the grind game he's our best friend. Then Chanbara, we sometimes use him for OTKs, but to be honest, because we never ever want to banish Hagoita for Rubber Band Shooter, we need another level 5 synchro to pay the cost for Shooter. For our level 6s, we play one Adamantipator Risen Reptide. We never actually use him to excavate, we only use him for his DD Crow effect in our opponent's turn. Also, Reptide is the easiest disruption that we can summon on top of double Crystal Wing. Then Stardust Charge Warrior. We sometimes use him instead of Reptide in matchups where Reptide is just like useless. And also sometimes we actually want him for the triple Crystal Wing combo, but mainly he's the go-to level 6 that we banish to pay the cost for Shooter. Then we play one level 7 synchro because we almost never go into level 7, but we still need to play one to reveal Yo-Yo plus Terrortop with Shooter, and sometimes we actually summon level 7 with Dynatherium. So my level 7 of choice is Clearwing Fast Dragon. He can be good going first and going second, and the alternative would be Wind Phoenix at Ignister for spell and trap removal and protection. Yeah, just choose either one of them. Then level 8 is actually the easiest level to summon in Speedroids right now. That's why we play many of them. First and foremost, we do triple Crystal Wing. I'm dead serious, you need 3 of them. Sometimes we even summon all 3 of them first turn, or what we do more commonly is summoning 2 of them first turn and then have Hagoida plus Daiko in grave as a setup for a potentially third one. Then we also play one Kite Drake. He's the most useful monster in our extra deck for going second. Like, he's insane. He can either negate all face-up cards your opponent controls or destroy all other cards on the field. Also, if he's sent to the grave by your opponent's card, you can search for any Speedroid like Terrortop, for example. And interesting is also how the search effect of Kite Drake is worded. It says, if this card in your possession is sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card. This means the search effect also triggers if his summon gets negated by, let's say, a Solemn card, and he also triggers if he's sent directly from the extra deck to the graveyard by a card like Dogmatica Maximus. In the combos that I'm going to show you right now, we often have to banish a level 8 Synchro for a rubber band shooter, and since I don't want to banish Kite Drag or any of the Crystal Wings, I usually play a 5th level 8 Synchro monster, and that's Battle Wasp Hama the Conquering Bow. When he's summoned with her Goiter and boosted by her car Turbo, Hama actually becomes like an OTK machine, because he then can attack twice for a total of 7,200 damage just by himself. And also, if Hama inflicts battle damage, he can reduce all of your opponent's monster by a stack, which can be useful. This wraps up the deck profile part of this video, therefore let's dive right into the Terrortop combos. For the 1-card combo we obviously just need one Terrortop. First we gonna special him to search Marble Machine, then we can normal summon Marble Machine to add Takatombok. Now we can link both of our monsters away for Rubber Band Shooter, and next we're gonna activate Shooter's effect and we will banish a level 8 Synchro as cost to reveal Plane and Car. Trust me, it really doesn't matter who goes to your hand, because we just need a free special summon. So let's say Odd is Plane, Even is Car. We got Odd, so we get Plane to our hand and Car goes to the grave. Now we special summon Tuck to trigger Plane. The only difference is if you got Car instead of Plane, then you don't need to special summon Tuck this early in the combo. Anyway, we tribute Tuck to special summon Daiko Duke from the deck, then we use Plane to make an actual bigger Plane. Then Auroradon is gonna special summon 3 tokens, of which we gonna tribute 2 to summon O-Lion from the deck, and then we use O-Lion and the last token for her Goiter, and O-Lion is gonna trigger in the grave to give us another free token. Here we can summon the first Crystal Wing with her Goiter and Duke, and now with Duke in the grave we can banish him to revive Car, and lastly we can use her Goiter's ability to revive himself and synchro summon the last Crystal Wing. So let's recap really quick. We started with Terrortop and we end on double Crystal Wing with Auroradon, 1 token, and also we got Hogoita and Karturbo in the grave. This setup with double Crystal Wing and the token is really just the base, and depending on which extenders you have, you can expand this combo. And I could show you now all the different variations of this one combo, but then this video would probably take well over 2 hours. So I decided that I just show you the Endboards so that you can get an understanding what different extenders actually achieve. So, and if anybody is watching this and really wants to see all Speedroid combos that I invented in detail, then leave a comment and like so that I can see that there are people out there that actually want to see more combos. So now I'm just gonna show you really quick what other Endboards you can get if you extend this combo. Also, none of these Terrortop combos is based on luck. The Endboards are guaranteed if not interrupted by a hand trap. So if you have any one of these 4 extenders, Horse, Dynatherium, Recovery or Plane, you can turn the 1-card combo into a 2-card combo and end on double Crystal Wing plus Reptide as your 3rd disruption. Or alternatively, you can end on double Crystal Wing plus Token plus Levier with Daiko back in your graveyard. Actually, I prefer this play, especially blinding first and against decks that Reptide is useless against, because the recycled Daiko with her Goiter and Grave gives us a free level 8 synchro play for the following turn. So then if you have Terrortop with any 2 of these 4 extenders, you can turn the 1-card combo into a 3-card combo, and then you get the best of both worlds because you can make Reptide plus Levier with a recycled Daiko engraved. Alternatively, you can also end on double Crystal Wing with Totem Bird as a like spell and trap negation. You could also end on double Crystal Wing with Reptide and Marbled Machine on field. This board is definitely weaker than the one with Levier, but here if your Auroradon gets Nibiru'd, you still end on double Crystal Wing, so this combo is the most robust against Nibiru. The last board that I want to show you is probably every Speedroid player's wet dream, and that's triple Crystal Wing plus draw 1. For this you need Terrortop plus O-Lion in hand and any of these 4 extenders. And if anyone is interested in seeing these combos in detail, I'm either going to make another video that's like a step-by-step tutorial, or you can just ask me on the Speedroid Discord server. So now I want to show you a completely different Terrortop combo, and for that we're gonna move away from Auroradon and Link monsters a little, because the next combo that I'm gonna show you doesn't use any Link monster. It's an easy 2-cut combo and you just need Terrortop plus either Taketomborg, Marble Machine or Car Turbo. It really doesn't matter which one you have, but for the showcase we're gonna use Car Turbo. So we start the combo by summoning Terrortop and searching Marble Machine. Then we normal summon the Marble Machine and add the last missing piece to our hand. Since we started with Car in the hand, the last missing piece is Taketomborg, but if we would have started with Taketomborg, obviously the last missing piece would have been Car. And now we have all 4 of them, so we can special summon Taketomborg next, and we take him out for Den Daiko Dude, which we immediately use to summon Hagoita. Hagoita is actually our 5th summon, so if our opponent has Nibiru, he should use it now before we have Crystal Wing access. Actually, let me demonstrate you what happens when we get hit by Nibiru at this point. Then we get a token, but we can still use Duke and Grave to special summon Car Turbo from our hand or grave. And now we can just revive Hagoita and make Crystal Wing even through Nibiru. So, in case we don't get hit by Nibiru, we can just go ahead and make the Crystal Wing. Then we're gonna revive Car with Daiko Duke, bring back Hagoita, and I think at this point most Speedroid players would probably just make the second Crystal Wing, but since we have Terrortop on field, the correct play is actually going for Levier first. This way we can detach Car to recycle Duke and now just make the second Crystal Wing, and this is probably my favorite Speedroid combo because it's very robust against any hand trap except Gamma. And this 2-cut combo actually gives us a free level 8 synchro play as a follow-up because we got Hagoita and Duke and Grave. Also, I want to show you guys something, so let's move back a few steps to the point before we XYZ summon Levier. Right here, if you got Recovery as an extender, you can just skip the Levier shenanigans, make the second Crystal Wing and use Recovery to make Totem Bird. I think it's just nice to know because now we got Spell and Trap Disruption in addition to our 2 Crystal Wings. What I basically showed you so far are the 2 different styles of playing Terrortop going first. There really isn't much more you need to know about Terrortop. Either you open Terrortop by himself or with extenders from the right side. The right side means you are going down the Auroradon route, which I showed you first. This is very rewarding but more susceptible to hand traps. Or alternatively, you open Terrortop with extenders from the left side, then you go down the route without Link summoning, which is a little less rewarding but way more hand trap proof. Alright, so now we're gonna move away from Terrortop, and I think it's time to switch out our MVP and take a closer look at our boy Marble Machine. Alright. So the most important thing that you have to realize about Marble Machine is that we are essentially going to play the exact same combos that we just did with Terrortop. All that you're missing is the 1 extra body on the field. And surprisingly, with Marble Machine we still have the same 2 routes. If you open Marble by himself or with extenders from the right side, then you will go down the Auroradon route. If you open Marble Machine with extenders from the left side, then you will go down the hand trap proof route. But for now, let's just start with the 1-cut combo because post Rise of the Duelist, Marble Machine has its own Crystal Wing combo, and that's really sweet. And for that, you just need to normal summon Marble Machine, then search Tag, take him out for Duke, then link into Shooter and again banish a level 8 for Shooter to reveal Plane and Car. For this combo, again, it doesn't matter which of the two you get. But if you get Plane, you need to use Duke a little earlier to trigger the Plane in your hand. Then link Plane into, probably you already guessed it, Auroradon. Auroradon again allows us to summon O-Line from the deck, which we use to get Hagoita access. And lastly, we summon Crystal Wing. So Marble Machine just by himself gives you a Crystal Wing, Auroradon, a token and Hagoita access. But statistically it's very unlikely to just open one Marble Machine by himself. Actually what's way more likely is that you open Marble Machine in combination with any one of these 17 extenders from my deck list. And every single one of these makes at least double Crystal Wing in combination with Marble Machine, and I calculated that if you open Marble Machine, you have about a 90% chance to open at least any one of these here. And what this means is 9 out of 10 times Marble Machine will give you at least double Crystal Wing. Before we move away from Marble Machine, I want to show you really quick the route from the left side that doesn't use link monsters. So you only need Marble Machine plus either Car Turbo or Takatomborg. Again, I'm going to use Car this time. So you normal summon Machine and you search the one that you don't have in your hand. So that's Takatomborg in this case. Now we special tag him out for Duke again. We then summon Hagoita and special Car from the hand. Car is our 5th summon, and because our next summon will be Crystal Wing, our opponent is forced to use Nibiru here, which gives us a token, but we can still extend because we can revive Car with Duke and then Hagoita revives himself, so that in the end we got at least one Crystal Wing even through Nibiru. And let's go back to the point before we got Nibiru'd. If he doesn't have the nib here, we can just make the first Crystal Wing and then make the second one with the help of Duke and Hagoita. I want to mention here at this point that this is the only combo in this video that I didn't figure out myself. Like 2 or 3 months ago when I just picked up Speedroids again, I joined the Speedroid Discord server, and a dude there called Arcturus, he taught me this combo, so thanks for that. And now we're gonna take a closer look at Dynatherium and Hasty Horse, and I hope in just a second you will understand why I love these guys so much and why I'm maxing out on both of these. So for the combo you need either Dynatherium or Hasty Horse plus either Car Turbo or Takatomborg, so one from the left and one from the right. For the demonstration I'm going to choose Car Turbo plus Hasty Horse. No, actually let's take Dynatherium because I really like the bling on this card, but I guarantee you that for example Tak plus Dynatherium or Tak plus Horse will give you the exact same board. But now let's get started. First we special Dynatherium, and now voila, we have a wind monster on the field, so we can special Car Turbo as well. This gives us one huge advantage over all the other combos I showed you so far, because we didn't use our normal summon yet, but we can already link into Rubber Band Shooter, and that's what we're gonna do with Shooter. We want to banish Clearwing Fast Dragon, and most Speedroid enthusiasts already know where this is going, because we actually gonna perform the OG Rubber Band Shooter by banishing a level 7 and revealing Terrortop and Yo-Yo. For anybody that is just starting to figure out how Speedroids work, in a situation like this you always want to mill the Terrortop and add the double Yo-Yo. This way you can normal summon the double Yo-Yo, special the Terrortop from grave, and basically get an extra body in form of double Yo-Yo. But this also means that our timeline now splits into 2, and for the first time today there's a lucky path and an unlucky path. I'm going to demonstrate you the unlucky path first. Here we unfortunately mill the Yo-Yo and add the Terrortop to our hand. We then normal summon the Terrortop and search Takatomborg. If we started our combo with Tak instead of Car, we would want to search Car at this point. And now we link the top and the shooter into Auroradon, which again summons O-Lion and gives us access to Hagoita and a token. We then can special summon Takatomborg and tag him out for Daiko Duke, and then we can make the Crystal Wing numero uno at this point, and with Duke and Grave we can special summon back Car, which lets us revive Hagoita and go for the second Crystal Wing. So let's recap for a second. We started with Dynatherium and Car, and we end on Auroradon, a token, and double Crystal Wing. And this is actually just the unlucky path. The lucky path, on the other hand, manifests when we hit double Yo-Yo of Shooter. And remember, we have not normal summon yet, so we can go ahead and normal summon Yo-Yo to bring back top and search either Tuck or Car. Since we started this combo with Car, we choose to search Tuck at this point. And now Yo-Yo is just free link fodder to climb into Auroradon, and like in all the other combos so far, Auroradon gives us access to Hagoita and a token, then we can special summon Tuck, tag him out for Duke, make our first Crystal Wing, and with Duke now in grave we can use him to bring back Car, which allows Hagoita to revive himself. It's basically the same play as the unlucky path, but we still have Terrortop on the field, so at this point we can access Levia to recycle the Duke before we go into the second Crystal Wing, and in the end we have the same board as the unlucky path, just that we got a free Levia which can potentially give us another plus next turn, but most importantly the lucky path gives us a strong follow-up play with Duke and Hagoita in the grave. Before we dive deep into Speedroid theory and card choices, I want to take a quick look at our last extender, and that's Speed Recovery. So here's a hand including Speed Recovery. We got 2 hand traps, we got Marble Machine, we got Dynatherium, and most importantly we got Recovery. And now I want to show you that Recovery gives us 2 different approaches how we can play out this hand. The first approach I'm going to call the Reptide approach. The Reptide approach you might want to take against a deck like Dino, because against Dino Reptide is strong, you can banish key cards like Miscellaneous Ceratosaurus, and to get to Reptide you just need to start comboing, and when you use Rubber Band Shooter we want to banish a level 8, and that's very important because now we can reveal Car and Plane, and this guarantees us a monster to link into Auroradon. And after a little wombo combo you end on Auroradon, double Crystal Wing and Reptide. This board, including the Reptide, is 100% guaranteed, and you don't take a chance by banishing a level 8 Synchro of Shooter. But I'm telling you, in most matchups, you don't want to take the Reptide approach. Instead, okay, here we have the same hand again, but this time we want to banish a level 6 of Shooter and reveal Terrortop and Car. And again, we will now have an unlucky combo path and a lucky one. The unlucky path actually gets you Terrortop to your hand, and we still have enough resources to make double Crystal Wing, so all we really lose is access to Reptide. That's why in this approach Reptide is not guaranteed, but instead you're gonna have Terrortop in your hand as a really strong follow-up. So now let's rewind and check out the lucky path. In the lucky path we mill Terrortop and add Car to our hand. This gives us so many options. I think now there are like 4 different Endboards we can make, and we could even keep the Recovery until after we resolve Auroradon, and this way we can kind of play through Nibiru. But I'm gonna show you now how you can access spell and trap negation. So we are going to use Recovery immediately to revive top and search Plane. Then we special card to trigger the Plane and link into Auroradon. Now we make double Crystal Wing like always. And in the end we have enough resources to access Totem Bird, which gives us spell and trap negation. So this way, including the 2 hand traps, we actually managed to get 5 disruptions with a spell and trap disruption on board. So this is going to be a really quick last showcase for today. Here I got a scenario that can happen like once in a while, and that's drawing too many recoveries with like 2 hand traps but no Speedroids at all. When you have a hand like this, a hand trap like Ghost Mourner can actually save your butt, because she's a wind and that's all you need to start your combo. In the end, we were able to end on a board with Aurorodon, Double Crystal Wing and Reptide, and that's one of the reasons why I think Morna is amazing in Speedroids. If she would have been any other hand trap, then this hand would have bricked terribly. And with that, I want to conclude the combo part of this video and now dive deep into Speedroid card choices and card theory. So what you can see in front of me are all cards that are being played in Speedroids right now, to some capacity at least. And what I want to do is I want to give you my opinion on all of these cards. And to make this part like a little bit more fun and visual, I thought about making a tier list. So we're gonna rank all of these cards by how viable they are in Speedroids post Rise of the Duelist. But before we start ranking all the cards, allow me to introduce you to my tiers. If a card is absolutely mandatory for the strategy, it belongs into the S tier. The most viable options and cards in general that you should always consider when building your list go into the A tier. Niche picks and cards with some potential in the future go into the B tier, and cards that are, let's say, not the creme de la crop go into the C tier. Also, I want you to know that all of the following is my personal opinion. Some of you might disagree with my rankings, and if that's the case, I appreciate criticism as long as it's constructive. So with that out of the way, let's jump into the tier list, and we start with Terrortop. He's clearly an S tier. Actually, I think he's the golden S tier. He's the GOAT, and I think he probably deserves his very own tier right over here. And at this point, Konami, let me ask you a question. Why Konami? Why does every second Speedroid card lock you into Wind Attribute? Even Rubber Band Plane locks you into Wind Attribute. But why does the most abusable, most splashable card not lock you into Wind Attribute? I don't really get it. Next we got Rubber Band Plane. As you saw in the combos before, he's a mandatory one-off that guarantees us double Crystal Wing setup. So I guess by my own rules, I have to put him in the S tier. But if Aurorodon ever gets banned, Plane is not gonna stay in the S tier for sure. Ooh, Double Yo-Yo. He's one of the OGs from High Speed Riders, but he feels a little weak right now, especially opening him is not optimal. I would still recommend him as a one-off because he can be searched out, though I don't think he's necessary. Therefore, I will put him in the A tier. Oh no. Hostiles. This is gonna be a controversial one, I think, because he was definitely strong in previous versions of Speedroid, but as you probably noticed, he didn't make it into my list, partly because I don't use the normal summon effect of Shooter all that often, and besides that, his 2-card combos suck, and the only time I would ever want to add this card would probably be off Terrortop to special summon Daiko Duke from my hand. Now that I think about it, actually adding Marble Machine seems better anyway, so then he also has a nice grave effect. It's a little slow, and I know a lots of people still play him, but for me he's clearly a C tier right now. Next we got Tuck. He's the best extender, so he belongs into the S tier. Then we got Marbled, the best starter after Terrortop, so also an S tier. Now let's check out the Speedroid tuners. First we got Tri-Eyed Dice. He can negate attacks by banishing himself from the grave. I don't think he's that good right now, but there's actually a niche interaction with him. If you focus your build more on making Appaloosa than Aurorodon, then he suddenly becomes decent, because when your Appaloosa is low on attack, you can protect him from battle. Also, he's a level 3, so if we are really nice, we can say he's a niche card and put him in the B tier, but I guess he's not better than Hostile, so let's also do C tier. Next we have the other dice, the Red-Eyed Dice, and I have to say how the mighty has fallen. I think before Rise of the Duelist he could have easily joined his buddies over here in the S tier, but now I would put him all the way down into the B tier. This is probably another controversial choice, but I think he's kind of a brick, and Red-Eye demands some extra deck space, even if it's just Marcher, and I know you could make Blazer with him, however that takes up even more extra deck space, and besides that, you can now make double Crystal Wing way more consistently with Auroradon, and what I believe is that Red-Eye was amazing for like the last 5 years in Speedroids. However, now post Rise of the Duelist, a lot of people just play him because they always played him and they don't want to redesign their decks from scratch. So I have to say, I think there's still some potential to this card because he can make Marcher. And if you know a really strong like 2 or 3 card combo that makes it worth running Red-Eye, please tell me, because then he might go all the way back into the S tier. Next we got Car, and I mean, he is the only tuner that can special summon himself, and he is a level 3, so that's perfect in combination with Hagoita, so I guess he's automatically an S tier. And lastly we got Magnet for the tuners. I really love Magnet, but he's very similar to Super Heavy Samurai Battle Ball, which is one of my favorite cards of all time, and exactly like in Super Heavy Samurais you can run Kaijus to complement his ability, but to be honest, I don't think it's actually worth devoting half of your side deck for a Magnet and Kaijus. Still, like with one eye closed, I will put him in the B tier, just you know, as a niche pick. I mean, you never know, maybe in the future there could be a format where Kaijus and Slumber are both amazing against the majority of rogue and meta decks, and then Magnet can definitely shine. Now for the Speedroid spells, we got Speed Lift first. Well, in my build this card is completely unplayable, and now with Win we have a way higher chance of opening Terrortop, and this card just doesn't go so well with Terrortop or Marble Machine, so an easy C tier pick for me. Speed Recovery on the other hand is nuts. Even in 2020 this card feels like modern card design, and it's 100% an S tier. Alright, let's rank some non-Speedroid cards right now, and let's start with my favorite extenders, Dynatherium and Hasty Horse. I will rank them together because they are really similar in what they actually do for the deck. And I hope you saw the 2-card combos. As much as I recommend playing them, they are not mandatory, that's why they belong into the A tier. Ooh, Tetherwolf. He's a 1-card rubber band shooter and by far the best token generator. He can also out problem cards like Winder and Darklaw, which is quite nice. And besides that, he is a Mecha Phantom Beast. This means you can summon him off Olion's Grave effect, and you could even summon him off Auroradon. In my opinion, Tetherwolf is a solid A tier. Right now I can only fit in 1 copy of him, but if you find more space in your main deck, playing him can never go wrong in Speedroids. That boy good, solid A tier card. Win is a consistency card, kind of like our Signet Mining, and for that reason she's mandatory. Next we got Symphonic Warriors. This is quite an interesting engine. Basically you play 3 guitars and 1 mix, and by discarding 1 card your guitar will special mix from the deck. What mix does is, he gives you an additional normal summon. Still, I'm not the biggest fan of this engine because it's technically a -1, and with the additional normal summon you're going to try to make up for the -1. But the biggest issue I have with Symphonics is you don't get enough payoff for running the brick. If we compare them to other engines like 3 Terrortop, 1 Takatombo, in Warrior Link gave you MX Saber Invoker, which was immediately full combo. 3 Brilliant Fusion, 1 Garnet, often gave you like a +5 or whatever. 3 Scorpio, 1 Cobra, 3 Sublime Knight, 1 Squeak Knight. All of these engines give you huge payoff for running a brick, but yeah, with Symphonics I'm just not feeling it. So still, I don't think they are the worst of all choices, so B tier I would say. Next we got the Wind Witch engine. Icebell itself is an insane card. Like when she resolves, she gives you an indestructible Crystal Wing with Wind Pegasus at Ignister engraved. This means that Icebell protects us from Nibiru, and she also baits like almost every hand trap. She baits Ash, she baits Veiler, Ogre, Gamma, and the Wind Witch engine also really profits from Win being TCG legal, since now we can effectively play 6 copies of Icebell, which makes running the less good Wind Witches even more justifiable. Unfortunately, all of this comes with a huge drawback, because after she resolves we can't use our link monsters anymore. So no shooter, no Auroradon, and no shooter means that we can only perform like half of our combos. She's really hard to rank for me, because if you want to include Icebell, go ahead, but then you would have to build your entire deck around her, and all things considered, I think her restriction is just a tiny bit too stifling. That's why I'm gonna put her into the B tier. Sorry, I totally forgot about Duke. I haven't seen a list without Duke, and right now he is the primary Taketombok target, so also an S tier. The last engine we're gonna take a look at today is the Battle Wasp engine. So you run 3 copies of Sting the Poison and 1 copy of Pin the Bullseye as your standard package, and very similar to Tetherwolf, it's a 1-card rubber band shooter, though you can also use them to make Metal Marcher, which is neat, but if this is all what you do with them, then they are basically just Tetherwolf in worse, so I would put them in the C tier. However, if you extend the engine by adding Cicada King and Twinbow the Attacker, Battle Wasp becomes easily an A tier Speedroid engine. Out of all of these cards you see here, the Battle Wasp engine will give you the strongest boards with the most negations and the most pluses. Like for example, a 2-card combo like Sting plus Win will allow you to build 4 negations and get a surge on top of it. Also with Cicada King, Sting is not only a starter, it also becomes an extender, and I always consider including Battle Wasp, but the reason I'm not running them right now is, as explosive as they are, they demand at least like 2 extra deck slots, and that's Marcher and Cicada King, and you have to run 1 brick in your main deck, but still a solid A tier engine for me. Ooh. Next we got Olion. He, in combination with Auroradon, guarantees us extremely consistent Hagoita access, and well, as we all know, Hagoita is the card that makes double Crystal Wing happen. So he kind of took the spot of Red-Eyed Dice in the S tier in my opinion, and on top of that, you know, just as a bonus, he's also a decent normal summon. Here we have Mecha Phantom Beast Blue Impala. Probably many of you have never even heard about this card, because this card is kind of like living in the shadow of Olion. He's another card that you can bring out with Auroradon, and then you can use him for XYZ plays to get to Levier, Totem Bird and also Cicada King. So if you include the Battle Wasps, I would probably also include Blue Impala. And then he has also a neat Grave effect, but all in all I would still put him in the B tier for now. Last we got 3 spell cards. The first one is Monster Reborn. This is definitely an A tier card. First turn, it's basically just a watered down version of Speed Recovery, but going second and in the mid and late game, Monster Reborn becomes a lot stronger than Recovery, because you can get back Crystal Wing, and the only reason that I didn't include Reborn in my list is I run a lot of hand traps and utility cards, and if I run too many of these Reborn spells, it actually lowers my consistency. But anytime I could switch out maybe the Tetherwolf or the Yo-Yo or one of the Wind extenders for Reborn, and I'm always going back and forth on this card. Oh, next we have Foolish. So with Foolish you can send cards like Terrortop if you have Recovery, you can send Daikodu or even Olion to use it as a Wind extender. But when I tested Foolish, in like most cases, it was just better to run a Wind extender or an additional starter instead. So I don't know, it feels a little weaker than the cards in the A tier, so I'm gonna put it in the B tier for now. Now we are almost at the end of our tier list, and we have 1 card left to rank, and that's Emergency Teleport. The best target that we have for Italy right now is Pelika, but Pelika in my opinion doesn't really make it worth running Italy, so I'm gonna put Italy in the B tier. Although, once Datascape Princess Nyang Nyang is in the TCG, you can play her together with E-Tally and Foolish, because she's a good normal summon and the best discard for win, so once Nyang Nyang is out, Foolish and E-Tally can become easy like A-tier staples. Alright, if anyone watched this whole guide, like, mad respect and thank you so much. I put a lot of effort in the creation of this video, that's why I would really appreciate a like or some kind of like feedback. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Aerosol TCG signing out.